Hey guys, welcome back to Golden Aesthetics. This is Artemus Dolgin. It's a little chilly in my apartment, and I kind of miss this type of contact and I miss this type of videos because I'm more focused on video blogs and lifestyle and training and traveling. But I would like to sit down sometimes and share with you my knowledge, my experience. There is no bias, there is no agenda. I'm not pursuing some kind of, theory to change your mindset or whatnot. I'm just sharing you with you my experience, and I feel like there are certain things that I'm really open about, and I'm actually open-minded. I really welcome change in my life. I really, want to progress, not just physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. And this topic is very important because I feel like the bodybuilding industry is really changing, and it's been changing, since the social media came around, because it puts this really unrealistic expectations on younger individuals and people that are 18 or 17, and they see other youngsters get the fame and sponsorships and living a lifestyle that everybody would like to have. Sometimes it's fake, and they put this super unrealistic expectations themselves, and that leads to certain inferiority complex, because they constantly compare themselves to others in social media and to abusing steroids. And why I really wanted to specifically pick this topic is because I've been transitioning from being natural, competing naturally, getting my pro card naturally, moving into abusing steroids, training goals, gym, and really being on a crazy cycles, and I'll get into it. And then getting off steroids, becoming natural again, getting back on ACG, getting on TRT, and living my life as I do right now. I feel like this is a very important topic because some people get stuck in the mud, and they keep using steroids for, all their life, and they're very unhealthy. I came into the sport when I was 6 years old. I learned what D-ball was when I was 6 because I've been around, Soviet, Russian bodybuilders and mostly powerlifters. And the guys were taking D-ball, for strength, and all of them were really puffed up and, full of water. And I don't know. I got on steroids very, very late in my life, even though I've been around them since I started to bodybuild. And I had many opportunities, to start the cycle at my young age, but I don't know, for some reason, I guess I got lucky. There was less exposure to social media, there was less pressure, there was less expectations, crazy expectations. I was really inspired by Arnold, I was really inspired by Franco and Lou Ferrigno, and those were the guys that, I didn't even know what they were taking. I didn't even know what what it was all about back then. But this is what I always aspired to be, and I never thought that I have to take steroids to be there until I got older and got on internet. And training naturally, I trained naturally all the way till I was 29 years old. I got my pro card naturally, and when I came to the gym in Chicago, I met Pedro Yanga. I told this story many times, and he was natural. And I think that what's really influenced me to stay natural and not to use steroids, because the person that was influencing me and that was inspiring me, and the person that was training me was a natural bodybuilder, and he was competing in natural shows. And because of him, I'm not going to lie, because of him, I actually stuck to being natural and competing in originals, in original competition in Rockford, and actually got called out, and I got tested, that show, the polygraphy test, I think the light detection test, and I passed it successfully. I didn't really juice for it. That was such a journey, man. That was such a journey. The whole competition experience, and the car business and dropping this and that. But that's another story. And I passed the test and I qualified for nationals. I trained really, really hard. It was a personal challenge to me. I didn't really had an option for steroids. I actually came across Anavar right before competition, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really considering of taking it because I wanted to be harder, I wanted to be leaner, I wanted to be stronger, I just wanted to be better, and I was ready to cut any edges. But I bought that thing from who knows where, and I just really I didn't want to take a risk of just not taking it and doing something wrong to myself before competitions because I didn't know what those pills were, where they came from, and such and such. So I didn't take Anavar, and I took diuretic that my coach gave me, but diuretic is not a steroid. It does help. I'm not gonna lie, it does help a lot. And after I turned pro, I saw the size of the guys already, and at national level and stuff. And I decided to compete natural in my first pro show and see how I do it. I think there was I mean, the competition life is so different from just regular bodybuilding. When you compete, it's a whole another ball game. It's a lot more goes into it. It becomes your job. It's become your only obsession. It becomes your only goal, because that's the only way really to get the results, is to completely and entirely dedicate yourself to the task in hand, to the goal in hand. And I just wanted to see how I do against the pros. It's kind of cool to tell you my experience and my mindset, that was developing during that era, during that time, because it's an interesting journey, because I progress, and I'm really, really happy to share this progress with you. So I competed in my first pro show in Tampa, and a lot of interesting things happened there too. And I got to see myself and compare myself to the people that were on juice, because obviously and clearly pros, most of the men's physique guys are on juice. Even the original competitions, now everybody's on juice now. It's just the culture, but we'll get to it. And I got a first call out, and to get a first call out at the pro show, very first pro show, it's a good thing, because of the politics involved and whatnot. So it means they noticed you. That's what it means. And I really did compare myself to the pros, and that was my goal. Obviously I wanted to win, but it wasn't possible at those circumstances, unless you have genetics of Arnold and you're undeniable. This happens. And I knew that in order to compete with those guys, I really have to go on juice. And I didn't decide quite yet. I went back home from Tampa. I got my car packed up, and I moved to California. I just wanted to be a movie star and a bodybuilder. I wanted to do all those crazy things. And that's what I thought about. I actually thought about movies. I wanted to be an actor. And I guess after so many years, it's only finally now I'll kind of start seeing the way, because before that I only saw the one way, is acting school, and bunch of auditions and stuff, and I wasn't, I guess, quite ready when I got here to California. But when I got here, I met this guy, Denis Sergovsky, one of the most remarkable Russian bodybuilders. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, the guy is a fucking stud. Like, really good looking, full muscle belly, reminiscent of Arnold, just really just an amazing looking physique. And no homo. I said, dude, what are you taking? Like, what do I do to be like you? He's like, well, you take this, this, and that. And then it just happened. I got signed up with North Hollywood Gold's Gym, and I met Rich Piana for the first time, where Rich Piana was still with Mutant. And I was like, just blown away. I said, Rich, dude, what do I do to be like this? And he's like, man, you compete this and that. You have to take this, this, and that. And I asked Dennis, like, dude, where do I get this? And, I got it delivered. And here I was, making, I don't really think that it was, I think I made a decision, right there and then on that stage in Tampa. I really wanted to beat those guys. So I didn't really care what I had to do. I just knew that it was a part of the game, and everybody that I competed with told me that this is the part of the game. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what gives you that look. There is a look that you can only achieve through taking substances. There is no way to get there naturally. That look is enhanced, and there is no way that you can diet, you can do all this cardio sessions and pull all this bullshit, right? All the supplements in the world, you'll never get that look, because that look is only achieved with chemicals. And I mean, when they wrote me out the cycle, I knew that I'm gonna do this, So when I got these things delivered, I said, hey man, how do you inject me or inject myself? How does this work? And that's it. Dennis was giving me my first injections every week. I was taking one injection. I was taking I started with Test, and then I had a DECA, I had a D-ball, And that was it. That was my very first cycle. I blew up. I fucking blew up. And then I started cutting down to compete in New York Pro. You know, this is when Masteron came in. This is when Prima Bolin came in. This is when Anavar came in and Test Prop came in. And dude, I got fucking shredded, dude. Come on, bro. The fucking pump is unbelievable, man. You can't fucking beat the pump on roids. Like, you can't beat being on roids at all. That fucking feeling of being invincible, unstoppable. You know what I mean? There's like, dude, it's a whole another game, dog. You are not you're not even a human being anymore. You know what I mean? You're crazy, and the strength that I felt, and the fullness that I felt, and just the sensation, you know, of doing a rap and having this intense mind muscle connection when you see the fibers popping up and, you know, the veins are pumping and they become this really fat, you know, streamy type of vein. And I was addicted to it, man. Just addicted to the feeling, you know. And then you look in the mirror and you're just fucking God. You know what I mean? Like, it is. I can't blame the guys, you know, they get hooked on stuff and they, you know, get hooked on the game. I can't blame them, you know. I can't, you know. I think it's just a matter of perspective and a matter of individuality. That's why, you know, when I started this podcast, I said that I'm not trying to convince you to do either thing. You know, I'm just sharing with you my experience. And if you're smart enough, if you're open-minded, if you're truly, you know, a living, you know, man, a human being with a purpose, you would listen to me. You will take in consideration certain things because this is my experience. This is what I went through. This is something that you can learn from. And dude, I got I got fucked in New York Pro. I did, you know, and I got upset because I saw the politics, you know, but I also saw other guys, and you know, all those guys were on juice. Like, fucking some of them were just fucking gigantic. And just for even men's physique, you know, in New York Pro. And then after that I went to Denver. Dude, that's been years ago. It's been 5 years ago, but it's an interesting story because it involves my process of using substances and where my mind was at that time and body. Um, then I was tried Vinstrol for the first time for that show, and oh Jesus Christ, man, I got fucking tight, dry. I was sharp as fuck. You can pull up my photos from New York Pro. I can probably show them to you right now, and God damn, man, I looked in the lineup and I was the one. I knew it. And you know what, bro? I tell you the thing. When I'm at the show, I always hang out by myself. I don't know what it is. I never belong to any type of group. You know, I have my own interest. I'm not quite, you know, a bodybuilder. Just, I love this thing, but I never thought of competing or making this my career. You know, it was always a hobby and it was my passion, you know, it was my expression, but I never thought of, you know, and I used to sell cars, man. I used to hustle. I used to do all kinds of things. I have 3 college degrees, and I never really, you know, felt like I was a part of that circle for many reasons. But I'm just, you know, I prefer to be on my own too. So I was in Tampa Pro, and I was just like, I mean, in Denver, and High Mile Pro, I think, and I mean, dude, I lost, man. I got 15th. You know, I think it was like the last after everybody. It was just fucking shocking. And I walked out, man. I had no money fucking left. I had nothing left, dude. Nothing. I was crying outside. I really was. I had tears in my eyes because, like, man, fuck, I put all my efforts into this, man. I fucking put all my resources. I flew out here, hotel, drugs, you know, all this shit. And a couple came up to me and said, "Hey, dude, you fucking look phenomenal, bro. You like, you won this thing. You look like a classic bodybuilder. You know, you look like a fucking classic, you know, guy from old school bodybuilding." And for me, that was the biggest compliment. It was more than fucking having that trophy. You know, I feel like I could do that, fulfilled the vision and then the concept and the look that I really wanted to portray, you know, and after that couple, many other people came up to me and, you know, they said, "Hey, man, dude, props. You looked, and your shorts with flowers were fucking sick." So that kind of gave me a boost. And when I came back, you know, to LA, I already had a different look at life, you know, and different, you know, things. But I also wanted to get bigger, you know. I really wanted to get bigger. And I actually started to train at Golds at that time. And I met one of the, you know, trainers in Golds, and I said, "Dude, I need to get bigger. You know, I need to get huge." And this is when the classic physique came in, you know, a little bit later. And I went really extreme. I went really extreme on stuff. I started running gear year round. I started running, you know, decent doses. I started including, you know, things that I never tried before. Um, dude, I used to shoot tren every day. It was a water-based tren. I used to shoot it in my biceps and just everywhere, on my shoulders. Right before the workout, I would do it in the alley. Just pop the amp and boom, done, gone. But the pumps, dude, was crazy. I actually come to the point where I tried this fuckwith sold me a fucking fake juice at Gold's. He sold me myostatin. It was, you know what it is. And supposing they came in from Kuwait, and it was like this big thing that's gonna change your DNA and you're gonna grow to fucking shit. Man, I have a story for you, man. I shot the thing in my shoulder, and because they told me it has more receptors, and I had this super fucking hot chick in my house, super sexy blonde girl, and I couldn't bang her because my shoulder was in so much pain. My fucking heart was racing, dude. I had fucking fever, dude. I was like, "What the fuck? You sold me, dude." I remember that night so well. I was like, "Man, fuck this roids, man. Fuck this shit. I don't want to fucking ever take this again because I can't fucking bang a chick." That's how important it is to me. And for some people, it's different. And after that, I was like, "Man, fuck. That was a major mind fuck." And then I felt, dude, you know what? I started experiencing many different side effects due especially to I threw out this myostat. I actually gave it away. I actually tried IGF too. It just shit didn't really work. The only thing that worked was basic stuff plus HGH. That shit kills it, especially if you know how to run. I mean, insulin, I never tried insulin. I've been around it a lot. I've seen people doing it, but I don't know. I was just really concerned about the danger of insulin, and I don't know. I felt like fucking with the sugar is just too much. You can really get away with, just taking basic old school stuff. And I actually talked to many, many legends, and I always asked them a question about roids. I really was really, really curious what their take was on it. And, interesting fact that back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, natural testosterone was considered between 1200 to 1500. Now it's between 4 and 7. So that can kind of actually explain how much more superior of bodybuilders they were, because they were able to build more mass. They have more test naturally. Nowadays test is low. First food, genetics again, and air pollution, all this bullshit. Stress comes into play. And now it's slower, so we have less probably ability to build the same density of the muscle. And I asked, Danny Padilla never took anything but DECA. Same thing with Tom Platz. Many of them competed in Mr. Universe naturally, and actually won Mr. Universe naturally. I think it was Robbie Robertson or somebody else. Sorry, I gotta have some water. So, I started experiencing side effects, and I started feeling my liver a little bit more. I started feeling a little bit of my kidneys because I was running stuff nonstop. I was eating like a pig. I mean, I don't have the genetics of a big dude, so I had to pack on calories, and I had to pack really hard. So I was eating 10 and 11 times a day. I would eat at night. I would wake up and 2 o'clock in the morning to eat, and I woke up 5 in the morning to eat. I was really committed. I was so dedicated. I got myself to 235, 34 pounds. And man, oh man, I was heavy, but as I told you before, that lifting, I mean, the experience was so superb, dude. It was insane. I was a monster. I felt like one. And you have to pay for it. It doesn't come free. That's just how life works. And I started getting really crazy hair loss. My hair started to go. And I think it has a lot of genetics to do with it. If you're, genetically pre composed or whatever it is to lose hair, you will lose it. Steroids, you will make it faster, and I guess it was my due time, at 20, I mean, with 30 something already. And, my hair started to go. I started feeling my prostate. Actually, I had one moment, I actually slept with some girl without condom. Bad choice, but sometimes you just do stupid stuff. Because, I guess when you're on task, you just fucking go. And I thought maybe it was a bacterial thing because I felt like I had an inflammation, so I had to go to the doctor, and they said me that my prostate was slightly inflamed. And I started thinking, man, this is probably not the girl with her bacteria, because it told me it could be a bacterial thing. I think, bro, this is fucking roids. And I was taking primobolan, and primobolan can do that, So I cut out primobolan, and it went away. Went away. I actually took some, anti-inflammatory pills, whatever I had to take. The doctor gave me, and um, I was like, man, dude, I start getting ready again. I took a little break, start getting it back again on primobolan because I love primobolan, and I started getting the same problem. And I was like, man, okay, I'm gonna take a break. I have to take a break because it was getting to really extreme. I was taking everything because I just wanted to win. I had that mentality, and I was chasing the standard that's been set by the people that don't give a fuck about my health. They don't give a fuck about my well-being. They don't give a fuck what's going to happen to me after I'm done competing, after I'm going to retire. Just fucking think of that. Just let that sink in. That federation doesn't give a fuck about the athlete's health. You're not competing, there'll be somebody else competing. That's it, bro. It's over. You know what I mean? If you're out of shape, nobody's going to come help you. If you are fucked with your health, nobody's going to come help you. It's all on you, and it's sad. It's very sad. I don't think it should be that way. And as far like I start taking a break, and I started noticing, definitely changes in my physique. I started noticing, I'm getting softer. I get less veins. I get less pumps. I started looking into taking some HCG. I never had problems with gyno. I never had problems with too much estrogen. I never really had, any signs of it. Even though estrogens can really do, harm to your prostate, high estrogen. So I started, recovering with my testosterone levels, and I started going to the doctors, to check my levels, check my blood, see my liver enzymes that were really high, all this type of things. And my testosterone wasn't recovering. So I went to a doctor, he prescribed me, testosterone replacement therapy, and that's what I've been doing. And this transition into a healthier lifestyle. And, when you're on roids, you have to work really, really hard. You really have to. Absolutely, you have to work your ass off. But a lot less than when you're natural. Because, when you're on gear, you can get away with more food and less cardio. You can get away with less workouts, You can get away with a lot. It gives you a really good boost, When you're natural, man, dude, that's a whole different game. And to be honest, looking back, would I stay natural? I think I would, and I should have. I got influenced. Nothing wrong with that. I was chasing the standard of people that really didn't care about me. The evolution of bodybuilding is strange. We can talk about it forever. It is very strange. And I think people that are in charge of it have a lot to do with what direction this whole thing took, because they rewarded a certain look, you know what I mean? So if the other look was rewarded more of a classic look, more of a tight look, more of a healthy look, athletic look, achievable look, people would be probably going for. I think Steve Reeves was the one, and now as I mature and I went through this process of, being natural, taking stuff and, just going off stuff and taking TRT now because I fucked myself up. I think after 35 you test, I talked to the doctors. Actually, I have a really good podcast with Dr. Castellano. I fucking highly recommend you watching it. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to do this whole thing again, because when you read Steve Reeves and what he has to say, or Reg Park, about bodybuilding and how they looked at it, they were very much ahead of their time, super much ahead of their time. And going through this experience and having this type of issues and looking around and seeing what's happening to the modern sport, and meeting someone like Joel or Brock, because I had to go through all this different experience and all this different nature, adventures, and make certain mistakes and fail sometimes. And I had to dig through a lot of mud, to find the diamonds. And um, meeting someone like Joel changed my outlook even more, and it convinced me that bodybuilding should be natural. And I know it's not going to resonate with people, with a lot of people, probably with majority, because they're going to say, hey, man, you achieved your physique, not naturally. And, bro, I lost everything that I had while I was in steroids. I'm not 234 pounds anymore. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I developed a certain muscle density that will get to keep for the rest of my life. But as soon as my test went down, it was gone. I'm taking testosterone replacement therapy so I can stay within normal norms. I'm over 700, obviously, but I'm not over, 1200. So it's it's a tricky thing. I trained naturally most of my life. I turned pro naturally. So I turned pro naturally. Men's physique, it's still, it doesn't matter. I still did it. I took it to the next level naturally. And there are a lot of people that turn pro naturally, and all the props to them. Some of them are really forced into taking drugs. And you know what? It's another thing that I see so many dudes that started with great physique 2-3 years ago, and now they're roided to fucks because they have these guru trainers that just ruin them because they want to claim the results by fucking injecting them with enormous amount of roids. I'm gonna say, I'm a fucking guru. Look what I did with this guy. This guy's a fucking 22-year-old. He looks like he's over 30. You know what I mean? His shoulders out of proportion. It just looks odd. It looks very odd. Yeah, he's big, veiny, fucking conditioned, big arms, but he looks odd. He looks odd. If you look at someone like Steve Reeves, it just looks natural. It's eye-pleasing. You look at this guy, it's just fucking one thing, a roid head. And unfortunately, kids get influenced by that because they think that's what is the truth. Because it gets the majority of likes, it gets validation, it gets comments, and people think this is the standard. This is what I want to be. In order to be that, I'm going to take this. It's just fucking wrong. You know what I mean? If Steve Reeves was the idol, and it should be because it's healthy. The whole idea of bodybuilding is not just looking great, which doesn't mean you have to take steroids to look great, to look symmetrical. You don't take steroids for symmetry. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't. You can attain symmetry naturally. Look at Steve Reeves. He's a standard of symmetry. He's the one who developed and established classic ratios. So it is a very tricky question. I trained, as I said, all my life naturally, and then I switched to this thing, and I went through all this experience of taking different things, and then getting off them. I think it opened my mind, and I feel like if I didn't go through this, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because obviously I was able to create certain things and create a certain lifestyle for myself. But right now, you can do it naturally. Physique is not everything. You gotta have personality. There are so many trainers out there, like even fitness people or bodybuilders that are naturals. They don't look nothing comparing to like all these big pros, right? But they have crazy following. They have crazy businesses. They have crazy cool lifestyle. They have, the freedom to do things that majority of you want to do. You can have and you can create business in the fitness industry without necessarily taking steroids and chasing the game. You can be the game. Right now, you have your own platform. You have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have YouTube. You have all these tools to put yourself out there and really create a great life for yourself. You can create a great brand for yourself without really going into the extreme and trying to validate yourself. Obviously, the standards that have been set right now on classic physique, and I've been kind of absent at the stage, the industry. I've been just doing my own thing and developing my own brand because I look beyond that. I really did. I'm really happy that classic physique came around because it kind of inspires more people now to chase the artistic look and this and that. But seeing what they obviously reward more muscular physiques. They reward more. Again, they're just going after the bigger guys. There are people that have beautiful symmetry that They didn't even make it to top 3 or top 5. They could actually battle for Mr. Olympia. I see things differently. You can argue with me all you want. We all have different opinions, but I'm an expert when it comes down to old school bodybuilding. I grew up with it. I didn't jump on the hype train like majority of the people did. I was chasing that look since I was a child. And it's truly in my heart and it's truly in my soul. And when I look at classic physique, I see beautiful guys, but they're not placing. There is a lot that goes into it, but I hope they're not going to take it over the top, because I feel when I look at Joel and I look at Pete Hartwig, for me, those two naturals, and people are going to argue because, fuck, dude, you just come to the gym, you lift for 2 months, you're already jumping on juice. Of course, if you see someone that's superior to you, you're going to think they're on juice too. That's the fucking problem of today's world. They fucking want results right now. So if they look at someone that's overly developed than them and looks great, they will just blame them and hate them and tell them they're fucking fake natties. But I've been around the sport for so long, I know who is natty and who is not. You can fucking, dude, I know it. I look at the skin, I look at the hair, I look at the color of their eyes, I look at their hardness, I look at the way they lift, I look at their pump. Like, I see things, and when Joel doesn't have a pump, he doesn't look that impressive. I think the motherfucker gets a pump. Jesus Christ, it's amazing, when you see that physique in person, you don't want to take gear. You just want to train. Those guys, especially with this two, Brock and Joel, I'm not hyping them or anything. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. Those two dudes don't have their cell phone when they're trained. Just leave it at that. Most of the guys, including me, fucking photograph and take a selfie and check shit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't. That's why you don't see stuff. They don't. They don't have their phone on them. They don't even have it with them in their pocket. They're focused on training. That alone sets them apart from the majority. They give it 110% when they train. It's interesting they don't train heavy. I didn't see them press more than 90 pounds on dumbbell chest. No, I'm not going to go heavier. Do you see that? No. You see fools benching 150s, 180s because they want to fit into that realm of bodybuilding that's trending. Fuck that. That's not healthy. And I know that it's not. For your joints, it's not healthy. For your ligaments, it's not healthy. For your tendons, it's not healthy. You're going to get hurt. 100%. You will be in pain. You will be in pain if you live that way. And I think you really have to approach this thing with wisdom, and awareness, and really understand what's real and what's fake, what's an illusion and what's reality. You really have to know the difference, because what you see on Instagram and what people set as a standard for you might not necessarily be the truth. You really have to understand things from the perspective of health, because health is life. And when you sacrifice your health and there's nothing to fall back on, that's all you got, health, on your balls. And if they shrink, they probably will never get back to the decent size again, unless you're young or you get off on time and you go through all the procedures of recovering your stuff. I mean, you look at most of the retiring bodybuilders, most of them don't look that great. And they didn't really make millions of dollars. Some of them did, some of them. But majority, not. And they're very bitter people, too. I mean, a lot of them are. So, is it worth it? No. Not with the platform that social media offers you. You can be healthy, you can be fit, you can be functional, you can be athletic, aesthetic, you can be natural, make millions of dollars. That's just my perspective. If you are, as I said, if you are into competitive world and you're obsessed with that look and this is what you like and this is what floats your boat, I'm not hating on you. Not at all. That's your choice. We're all free. I am sitting here right now and sharing with you my opinion and my personal journey. And that's it. I love bodybuilding. I'm obsessed with bodybuilding. Even though I don't like Olympia and I don't like, the whole industry thing, because, I took my own route and I paved my own path with real values and something that I decided to stick to despite anything. It takes a lot of character to do, and I'd rather have my character than sell it or pretend. I want to be a real person, and that's what I've been doing. And I feel like going through this journey taught me a lot, and I feel like I am responsible to share it and maybe help somebody else to look at the sport differently. So, if the guys are really chasing that look, and, you can't really blame them. If you're a competitive guy, you're going to do whatever it is, you have to do to make the edge. And I respect that. I really do. I just have my own, I think, my own path, and as I said before, I really love bodybuilding to the point I keep thinking about competitions, and then keep, sometimes I'll be training, close my eyes, and I start posing. I'm thinking like I'm on a big stage. It's inspiring. It's motivating. It makes me feel alive. Being really committed to my craft. I truly love bodybuilding. I really, really do, and it's something that I stuck to throughout my life. It's something that's been my best friend, my girlfriend, uh, my companion, my partner, and if not for bodybuilding, I don't know where I would be. Because of bodybuilding, I was able to mold myself into a strong human, that can take on hardships and overcome hardships and develop discipline that I can apply to absolutely any aspect of life, my business, my acting endeavors right now, because that's what I want to do next. And as I said, when I moved here, I really wanted to be an actor, and I was going to all these things, and, bodybuilding happened, and it kind of popped off there. And I picked bodybuilding, obviously. So now, since I'm transitioning into another, I guess maybe stage of life, because I've noticed that I go through this 5 years periods, like 5 years of one path and 5 years of another path, like, being in college and then selling cars, having my own business, and, working different jobs, and then moving to California and going through this bodybuilding experiences. So I feel like, I'm sort of transitioning right now. And I think if I didn't get off roids, I don't know where I would be. I don't know how I would end up. I don't know. Maybe I would be competing in Olympia. Maybe I would have won Olympia, or maybe I would just fuck myself further, But I had to do what I had to do. I had to be smart. A lot of people, they try to lie to themselves, and they try to neglect, a certain, declining in their health, and because they're chasing this, dream. But you really have to be real with yourself. You can't just lie to yourself and being obsessed with them, something that it's not there. Some people just don't have the genetics for it, and they try to compensate that genetics with steroids. You just don't have it, bro. Look at yourself in the mirror and just fucking, dude, get out of your comfort zone. Stop being a meathead and move on. You can still make a great living without competing in Olympia. It's, people say, hey man, genetics doesn't decide anything. Genetics, it does. It fucking does, because not everybody's fucking Phil Heath or Arnold, or all the greats. It's not for everyone. Of course, you can push through your genetics, like Rick Dickinson, right? He won the Olympia. He didn't have no biceps, but I think, I don't know about his sexual orientation and why he won that Mr. Olympia. I really don't care. He was a great bodybuilder, but he didn't really have the genetics of Mr. Olympia, because I feel like Mr. Olympia has no weaknesses whatsoever. Not in the back, not in the arms. I can break you down every single Olympia from 1996. Who won, who lost, and I can tell you why and what I see. I could have probably focused on that part, of podcasting, and I probably should. We'll see. Because as I said, man, I live and breathe bodybuilding. Even though I'm not really on the scene, I keep my eye on it, because it's something that always going to be an interest. And despite, all the politics and whatever, it's not, I'm a big fan, and I respect the work that goes into it, every single bodybuilder. And as I said before, I'm not sitting here and judging anybody. I'm telling you my story. I'm telling you my life before, steroids, during steroids and after steroids. I'm telling you my conclusions, and things that I came to realize, just in order for younger generation to look at these things from a different perspective. You don't have to buy my t-shirts. You don't have to fucking do nothing. Subscribe to this or that, dude. If you hear me out and you turn off the station, you turn off your computer and say, hey man, I don't really give a fuck how jacked is this guy, that guy. I want to live a long life, and I want to be able to fuck a girl whenever I want to, whenever she's around. Because, dude, you get on juice, man. You have, like, dude, Viagra is your best friend, bro, especially if you're on a trend. What the fuck? Like, what actual fuck? Why would you want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, you can look and look at Steroids, man. Of course, genetics, yes. But, dude, if you are lean and you keep training without going to this fucking crazy bullshit, unhealthy overeating, I'm going to get to that into different podcasts. It's a different topic that really deserves time. And, dude, you can look very aesthetic, very pleasing. You can fucking attract people from all walks of life, because if you're on roids and you're all this roided dude, man, it's a whole different ball game, dude. You live in a different society in a way. People react to you differently, they treat you differently, and I don't give a shit, on this in this type of thing, like how people treat me and all that. But I'm just saying, in terms of business relationships and just relationships with people in general, because, dude, when you're on roids, it's, as I said, bro, you're a fucking beast. You're animal. Your temper is so short. You're so short-sighted at the same time. Your fucking brain is always kind of blurry, because you eat so much food. I mean, it's a different lifestyle. As I said, I look at sport right now from the perspective of health, and what keeps me alive and healthy longer. That's why I want to lift. That's why, as I said, I was looking at Joel and Brock and the way they train, the way they approach dieting. They don't diet, they just have healthy lifestyle. Bodybuilding is not a commitment. It's a lifestyle. It's a fucking lifestyle when you really enjoy yourself and you enjoy eating salads and fruit and vegetables. I didn't fucking had fruit for years when I was bodybuilding, because I was told it has too much sugar by my coaches. I was like, fuck, man. And I lost this for fruit is so good for you, man. And I looked at them, I was like, man, dude, their bodies look so amazing. When they get the pump and they get lean, like, fuck, bro, they look crazy good. And it might take you longer. It might take you a lot more commitment, a lot more desire, burning desire. But it's such a noble thing these days to stay natural. It's such a noble thing, because you look around and everybody's on gear. Everyone tries to push the fucking envelope and wow you. And as I said before, man, you look at these dudes from 4 or 5 years ago. Sergio Costanza looked fucking absolutely fucking amazing. I have such a big respect for this dude. I look at the physics, I was like, fuck. But look at him now, he just, man, it's a whole different dude now. And if he likes it, I respect that, as I said. But I'm just saying, like, from the perspective of someone that, matured through this thing and let, the common sense win. I look at this thing and a little bit different, and I'm really happy to share this opinion with you right now. And I hope that somebody's gonna listen to this like, man, fuck, dude, I'm gonna go look at Joel or Brock and Pete Hardwick and see what they're about. And when you see their bodies, like, holy shit, dude, it's worth staying natural, because it's gonna stay with them for the rest of their life. That lifestyle, that health, the libido, the hair, the color of their skin, or eyes, or the condition of their skin. It's I think natural bodybuilding is not marketed right. It's not advertised right. And I'll tell you why. I don't think it's easier. I think it's harder to sell supplements with natural bodybuilding. It's impossible to sell supplements. Impossible, because they don't make no fucking difference. They make no difference in natural physique. Maybe a little bit of creatine can make you a little fuller. All other stuff that they advertise, the testosterone boosters that every other fucking fitness idol is selling you, it's garbage. Test boosters don't work. It's trash. It's lie. Motherfucker is on steroids, and he's lying to you about testosterone booster. This is obnoxious. Well, that's why natural bodybuilding is not popular, because people feel like it's not impressive, but I guarantee you, there are physiques in this world that are natural that most of people don't believe they are. But that work and extraordinary effort that goes into that physique, you can't teach that. You can't sell that. You can't sell hard work. It's not marketable. Here, take it. Tomorrow you're going to be big. And that's it. And as I said, guys, I really don't give a fuck who does what. I do my own thing, and I'm expressing my personal opinion and what I think about. And the way I look at the reality, I look at the world the way it is. I'm in this game, and I've been in this game for a long time. The game of this bodybuilding thing. I've been training since I was a kid. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not making things up. I'm not trying to put shade on this or that. No, I am just telling you my experience the way it is. And I feel like natural bodybuilding should be a lot more marketed, should be a lot more advertised. But again, it has to be done with a sense of style. And you know who has a sense of style? Me. I do have a sense of style. And I will make it. The way I did the competition for Golden Aesthetics, and the way I found, Joel and Brock, and, Pete Hartwig and other guys. And you know what? That's going to be another podcast about this. We'll talk about this later. I have so many different ideas towards that. But as I said, I feel like natural bodybuilding is the future of this sport. It has to be, people have to invest into it because it's just healthy, and we can attract people from mainstream. We can go to Wall Street, and you have someone like Joel with you, dude. He takes you short when he poses in Chinatown. The whole town stops and just stares at him, because it's such an extraordinary man. Natural. And when you look at that, like, I mean, dude, if I can achieve half, if majority of the people can achieve half of that, they will be happy. And there are people saying he has no shoulders and this and that. Just fuck off, just go look at the cows. That's what you like. That's fine with me. I don't care. I don't, it doesn't matter. This is something that I really wanted to talk about for a while, and I'm really happy that I got to express myself and share with you my personal experience and my personal outlooks on these things. Maybe I should have went more in detail on certain things, or maybe less in detail on certain things, but this is the way I am. I kind of miss doing this podcast like this, and telling you and sharing with you my life. I will do more of this, and as I go, I guess I'll become a little bit more experienced, more seasoned, and I'll be able to express myself in a better way. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching this. I appreciate you giving me your time. I didn't want to waste it. I wanted to put out something that's going to have value, going to be informative, maybe a little bit entertaining as well. You can sign for my channel. You can subscribe to my channel. I have a goal of taking it to 1 million subscribers. I really, as I said, man, I want to be an actor, and I want to use this platform also for my acting. If you haven't seen my Joker video, I highly recommend you watching it. It's just me stepping outside of my comfort zone. And, some people say I was cringe. Well, fuck off. I had to dig very deep with that character. I had to go into depression for like almost a month. I've been eating whatever. I didn't train. I've been by myself all the time. I had to dig through, the drama, the past, the bullying, all this bullshit and unfairness, and me getting beat up by people, like, or people betraying me, like all this kind of shit. I had to dig through this, and there wasn't this, and this thing, and I had to write stuff. So whatever I wrote, I really felt at that moment, and I didn't fake anything, and that's what, true acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Guys, I wish you a very, very good weekend, or whatever, or the week. Thank you so much for watching me. I appreciate you. Have a great one.